Right, now we're going to come to do the rye loaf. So in the large bowl overnight we've just seen, that was the fermented pre-ferment. So that's bubbled up nicely overnight. What I've done in a bowl here is I've added the remaining flour, which is about 200 or 250 grams, I think, of flour, and the salt. And I have here a jug of, it should be 200, I've just noticed that's 300, so let's get rid of a wee bit of that. 200 mils of water that has just boiled. So I'm going to move on to this. Again, using glass and wooden implements. This is a spurtle. It's a Scottish implement for stirring your porridge, and that came from a little water-powered mill on the River Fuch in Banchory in Aberdeenshire, probably about 40 or 50 years ago. I remember going down to buy that. Right, so let's just look at this. See how, I don't know if we can see that nicely, just how bubbly that is, with big bubbles once you stir it up under the surface. We put the remaining flour into that and then add the just boiled water. And we'll do that in a couple of stages and mix that up into a fairly stiff, thick mixture. This is where the spurtle's pretty good. It's really basically just a mixing stick. When you've got your porridge going overnight, you use that to mix it in with the water and the salt. And leave that to soak and harden up in your drawer overnight, as they used to do. Okay, this is a pretty thick, and remember this is going to be baked now into a bread loaf. You'll see on the wheat version of doing a bread dough all the sort of kneading and manipulation and so on. This is where this becomes a lot more simple. So we've got that nicely pasted up, and what I'm going to do is we have to bake these rye breads in a tin of some sort. They don't have the structure like a kneaded wheat loaf has got. So we put this in. Now, when I baked one of these the other week, it stuck to the sides. Now clearly you can grease the sides with oil, just ordinary rapeseed oil, or if you're in North America, canola. However, I have been using cake liners to do this for me, which is, I suppose, could be a little wasteful, but it kind of works, so I'm kind of doing it. So we'll just line the tin like that. I need my scraper. Where's my scraper? There we go. Handy professional, having everything to hand. Gay sells one of these. This is you'll find there's a variety of scrapers available. This is quite a stiff one, and this is really very much for bread making. You get other ones that are typically used for cakes. So this one is very much a cake batter one. You see that's quite flexible, and the reason for that is that it's flexible for scooping cake batter out of a mixing bowl and popping it into the form and scraping it down. But bread, you need to have something a little bit firmer. So I'm going to start just filling the baking tin with the dough that we have made. Get the first little bits off my spurtle. There we go. Get in there. And then the thing about baking is you've just got to get in there with your hands. There's no other way. Because we use boiling water, it's quite a warm dough this. or just boiled, not boiling, but recently boiled, just boiled water. So it's quite a warm dough, but I don't think it hasn't gone so hot that the yeast and, well, the wild yeast and the lactic acid and that little bit of baker's yeast I put in there, it's not so murderously hot as to kill all those bugs. So there's still going to be some fermentation activity for a little while, because what we're going to do is we're going to leave this for about 4 hours to do its proving, and so it needs to have its proving period, its second fermentation, to just build the structure. Because now we've put a whole lot more flour in it, and it's now this will flow, but it's quite stiff, so it will flow into the corners, but it is quite stiff. So I really want to try and get this shaped into something that's going to look, see here you've got a huge big dip and a hollow there, still a little bit of stuff to scrape out of the bowl, and just sort of fill up these cavities. This is a messy business, but it's good. So we'll just get that to the side. Now, a little word on bread baking and hygiene and all that is that the great thing about bread is that it's subjected in the oven to heat of in excess of 200 Celsius. So anything vile is killed. So of course you want to be hygienic, but equally it's a pretty microbiologically safe product when it comes out of the oven. So just flatten off the top of the surface like that. There's going to be a bit of bubbling and cracking and what have you anyway, so the surface isn't going to remain absolutely solidly smooth and so on. So there's quite a bit left on the scraper, and when I pick that all up, I think, do you know what? There could be a slice. That could be the equivalent of half a slice or something like that. Oh, I don't want to lose that. So we'll drop it on, smooth it in, and just bring that right up to the end of the loaf tin like that, and there we go. Good. Okay, right, we're going to leave that to prove. I just need to rinse off my hands behind you, so excuse nothing going on the camera for a couple of secs. I just want to show you again what I do for this loaf for the proving stage. I get a second plastic bowl and I put it over the top like that, and I'm going to leave that for 4 hours, and we'll come back and see where we get to in 4 hours time.